Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini episode, I have a couple of more bizarre stories involving weird phenomena. One, this canyon where apparently these murders took place, and another story of this pregnant woman encountering alien beings. Let's get into the first article. Pregnant abduction experiencer describes Nordic woman and gray entities present during event. Let's get into the story now and hear exactly what took place. In March 2017, a pregnant experiencer reported a vivid and emotionally calm encounter that she later came to believe was not a dream but an actual abduction event. The event occurred late at night and involved non-human entities, telepathic communication, and a message centered on her unborn child. What followed raised questions about missing time, generational encounters, and a recurring prophetic theme seen in other abduction cases. Let's get into the actual account. At the time of the experience, the American experiencer was approximately 15 weeks pregnant. She initially dismissed the event as a strange dream in which she observed a crashed craft and was somehow able to fly it using her mind alone. Within days, however, she became convinced that what occurred was not a dream but a real encounter. She found herself lying in a room with metallic walls that reminded her of a futuristic hospital from a science fiction film. She was lying on a bed wearing a gown. She was not restrained. When she turned her head to the right, she saw a tall, Nordic-looking woman standing nearby. The figure reminded her of a blonde, ethereal version of Erwin from The Lord of the Rings. Behind this woman stood approximately 6 gray beings. They appeared to be between 4 and 5 feet tall. The witness could not clearly recall what they were wearing and described them as appearing almost unclothed, though she instinctively felt this was not literally the case. The witness immediately knew that the tall woman was Palladian. Communication did not occur verbally. Instead, the witness described the exchange through the woman's eyes as if the message were transmitted directly into her mind. The message was brief and direct. She was told, "He is the prophecy, child. You are safe." The witness recalled repeating the same phrase internally. Rather than fear, she experienced a profound sense of calm and peace. She was not distressed at any point during the encounter. At the time, the doctors had not yet determined the sex of her unborn child. However, she stated that she had always known her first child would be a boy and that he would be born in October. This later proved accurate. The Nordic woman appeared to know the child's sex, but for medical confirmation. The witness realized something was wrong when she awoke later. She had fallen asleep in the living room of her mother's house, but woke up upside down on her sister's bed. She had no memory of moving or being carried. The last time she recalled checking the clock was around midnight. When she awoke, it was either approximately 3 o'clock a.m. or 5 o'clock a.m., though she could not recall precisely. Throughout her life, the witness reported regularly seeing shadow figures. She also stated that her paternal grandmother and her daughters have witnessed numerous UFO sightings over the years, suggesting a possible generational pattern. Later, during her pregnancy, the witness suffered kidney sepsis while hospitalized. Despite the severity of the condition, the unborn child was not affected. Indeed, that's good to hear about, folks. But it's also startling to hear that this child apparently, well, like so many other apparent pregnant women who report similar experiences during their pregnancy. In fact, they get the same line. Their child's a child of destiny. And some people think it's less about basically some special fate and more to do with the fact that they might be a hybrid or basically related to that particular phenomena. Either way, a truly bizarre account, folks. Do you think that this child really is a child of destiny? One of these hybrid children, perhaps? Or maybe having some genetic quirk that they're interested in? And that maybe this will lead to something happening in the future? I don't know. It does sound interesting, folks, but we need to learn more in the future. But let's move on to the next article. Rob Canyon legend. Local fear and the question of what lingers after dark. Let's hear this story about parent murders that took place back in the 70s, but that's just one story relating to this particular bizarre canyon that had many hauntings and bizarre phenomena in it. Let's get into the article now. Rob Canyon in northwest Reno, just south of Rainbow Ridge Park, has developed an online reputation as one of the most frightening locations in the American West. Since the early 2000s, internet accounts have described screams, shadow figures, and unseen forces in the narrow canyon corridor. What remains unresolved is whether the activity reflects an undocumented violent past, misinterpretation of environmental factors or a case of modern legend feeding itself. Over the last 2 decades, Robb Canyon has been the subject of persistent paranormal claims circulated primarily through blogs, forums, and informal investigator accounts. Visitors report strange lights moving along the canyon walls, sudden temperature drops near the creek bed, and disturbing sounds described as prolonged screams echoing through the canyon at night. Is it true, folks, or is it just a tall tale? Let's read on. Several online narratives claim that invisible forces have pushed, tugged, or physically restrained visitors. Others describe shadowy figures, often called shadow men, appearing near a large dead tree by the water. This area is repeatedly identified as a focal point for activity, including cold spots, sensations of dread, and EVP sessions that allegedly captured low-level whispering or chant-like sounds. One widely circulated account states that in the fall of 2005, an investigator named Mike Blankenship from Kansas was knocked to the ground and held briefly by an unseen force. The incident was not captured on audio or video, but it has become a cornerstone story within the Robb Canyon legend. Internet reports also state that the Reno Police Department and the Washoe County Sheriff's Office no longer respond to disturbance calls in the canyon, advising residents to close windows and avoid the area at night. According to these same sources, paranormal investigators often terminate investigations early due to overwhelming fear or oppressive emotional sensations. Local residents interviewed by the Reno Gazette-Journal, however, offered a very different perspective. Longtime homeowners living above the canyon reported no awareness of a haunting reputation and attributed unusual sounds to coyotes and normal canyon acoustics. Cold spots were acknowledged near the flowing creek, but explained as natural temperature variation common in shaded drainage areas. Police officials stated that there is no record of a quadruple homicide in Robb Canyon during the 1970s or any other period, and no policy of avoiding the area. Nearby residents expressed surprise that the canyon had developed such an ominous online reputation. Visitors who arrived expecting fear often acknowledged that the canyon feels unsettling after dark, but reported no direct paranormal encounters. Several admitted that anticipation and suggestion likely amplified the experience. So, is Robb Canyon actually haunted, folks? So far as I can see, it isn't. It could be that this is misinformation or basically just tall tales that have grown up around this particular part of America, folks. If you're wondering why I basically said misinformation, people basically making up tall tales, or even maybe the government basically releasing false stories about things that happened in this canyon, folks, to muddy the waters and basically direct attention away from actual areas that experience real paranormal or ufological phenomena. I'm saying this, folks, so people go out there wasting their time and see nothing when actual real things are going on in other areas. I would not basically put it past the government to spread misinformation about this, to muddy the waters on what is really going on. Now, is Robb Canyon actually haunted, folks? I can't say for sure, but most likely no, because there's no real evidence that any murder ever actually took place out there. Like the story they say that happened in 1970, or basically during the 70s, where apparently there was a triple homicide. So, most likely no, but maybe there's still something out there. Either way, folks, what about the pregnant woman who encountered this Pleiadian woman and these small gray aliens? What is the real truth of the matter? Could it be that basically what she experienced was some sort of implanted memory, that she was given false memories by these beings, folks, who might not even be aliens, but perhaps government agents who basically, as I said before, folks, implant false memories of abduction for their own reasons, perhaps for human experimentation, or to make them believe that they actually have been abducted by aliens. All these incidents are truly outstanding, folks, but we have no idea if they're true or not, but makes you wonder what is real or not. But now we're at the end, folks, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics That Are Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions of the chat to go subscribe me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure at the part of the bell they give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.